ain't meaty man slapping me.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. It's not just me, Patty P, here in the Art of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo. How we doing?
We're doing.
We're vibing. We're living.
Breathing.
Does it Brazil on your shirt?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very confused because the color scheme, not what I think of when I would see Brazil, but I like it. So, like, what is it? Is it like is a background?
Yeah, it's like the beach and buildings.
Okay. I like that.
I don't know. I literally just got it because it was a big t-shirt that I could wear around the house. I didn't really care what was on it. So
that's how I feel right now with my big ass sweatshirt. This one from WrestleMania. Like, it's giant. You know, it is really big on me. But goddamn, it's so comfy.
Yeah.
It's so comfy.
Okay.
It's cold here now.
Sarah.
Remy, the adults are talking. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have kind of gone to a cold snap.
I'm jelly.
I know. I would imagine that you are jelly right now because it does look like Gotham outside with all the gray and clouds and potential rain. We have a nor'easter approaching on Thursday, which is just great. Boats can't get out, but not my problem. Not my problem right now. You know what my problem is?
No.
Wrestling. Well, not really my problem. Whatever. Segues
it's always
are weird.
My problem.
Segues are weird. All right. But we're going to talk wrestling now because that was then, this is now. And right now is the Raw Rewind. All right. We had a hell of a show. Just the show. Yeah. I'm thinking too much. We'll talk about that. We'll give our thoughts on what went down as Sara fights off Remy right now. Do I need to play Rod Zapata in this between? I think we just need to let Remy and you just get in it. You know.
The thing is I look like the mean person because she's just love me, whatever, and she only gets bad when she tries to rip out my headphones. But
because it's attention. You can't give it attention like you do. It's you gotta be like, no, it's my time.
I do, but there's a girl at work whose cat does the exact same thing. Every time we have a meeting, she's just walking by. Yesterday, she put her butthole in the camera, and I was like, "Girl,
that's adorable." That's just effing adorable. Let's hear from the peeps, Sara. Let's hear from the peeps and not Remy as she walks away. Sophia and her boyfriend are going to Friday Night SmackDown. That's awesome. Good shit. But you didn't know the Who was doing a farewell tour, so you might have to
trying to go to Raw when they're in Phoenix.
You should.
I'm trying. Well, I'm trying to go through work, but June 9th, that's a big day for Gunther. So that's the one I'm trying to go to.
I know. That'd be a big one.
I already know he's going to lose no matter what happens. So
but think of being there and getting taking a video of it and posting it and the interaction that we'd get.
You know what is so depressing is I have not seen Gunther live in person and win yet. Maybe I shouldn't go for that reason. Maybe he wins when I'm not there.
Sara, you can't change something while standing still. So I think you just have to go and change and see if it'll change. It might. You never know. With the nonsense that's going on to end Raw with Jey Uso.
Oh, I have a theory.
You have an 8-town down theory. I love it. We'll close the show with that because I I don't have any real, strong opinions about what's going on right now because I want to just see it play out. With Saturday night's main event, the tag match. All right, fine. I think that's a great way to continue this. Great for the event, whatnot. However, I with the amount of pieces that have been thrown at us for potential heavyweight champions last night, I'm interested to see where it goes, and I don't have a specific theory yet, like yourself. I have a theory and other things with the show, but with the main course, I'm satisfied. So
I just think that Jay's days are numbered.
I could see that. I don't.
I think it was Humble that said that Jay Uso has the most cash-inable title reign of the last however many years, and it's like, yeah, but I've been telling you guys this since before he won the title.
That's but like at the same time, I'm still enjoying it, but I do agree that this is not going to be a reign like his cousins by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sarah and Pat, what's up, Nathaniel? Prediction is the Thunder Knicks, OKC in 7.
I hope you're wrong at least on half. I cannot deal with the Knicks in the finals. I will want to die.
But all right, here's the thing. And I agree. I don't want to see the Knicks. But could you imagine if the Pacers win and you have Halliburton and McAfee? That actually is good exposure.
Well, it should then be Pacers Thunder. I'd rather that.
Can you believe the shit that was WWE said about, it's like we wrote it when Halliburton?
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling is a microcosm of life. I'm telling you, Sarah.
I hope the Pacers wipe the floor with the Knicks. I really do.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I just really like Brunson. That's really it. I hate the Knicks because Boston, New York, obviously. And the Pacers are just like, whatever. Like, Halliburton's a cool dude. He likes wrestling, so I'm all in. McAfee, we all know my stance on him. And, like, Larry Bird, I think, still might have a hand in the Pacers. So, like, I want to see Larry win. What's up, David? Bernard was popping. Bernard, did you play your Madden game? Because I want to play somebody. All right.
Did you see his tweet to me yesterday?
I don't think so. Was it which one?
He tagged me. Hold on, let me find it. Remy is back to ruin my life.
You find it. I'm gonna scroll through some comments here.
Okay, I found it.
What's up, main event, bro? Heart for Zoe. Yeah, no shit, dude. We're gonna
Shake from his show said JD McDonough is looking good. Not gonna lie, dude is hella underrated. And so Bernard tagged me in it, and I wrote JD McDaddy is in the house.
Oh,
he was like,
okay, I did
Sarah or something else. And I'm like, well,
you should have seen Sarah's reaction when he flipped off the crowd.
I was obsessed immediately.
Like, talk about complete opposite reaction of what he expected. Like, imagine, all right, just like take wrestling and him out of context, like put it in reality. Like, imagine going up to someone like in that moment or whatever, just flipping him off and them just going, yeah!
Hey, if they deserved it, and it was a double bird, by the way, so that makes it even better. But like, hey, the guy deserved it. So he was talking shit. They think that a lot of the time there are fans who think that they can just do whatever they want to wrestlers and that they're not going to react.
You see Natty?
Mm-hmm.
You see Natty fucking
I mean, I still think that was a plant, but still,
whatever.
Yeah.
Still loved it. Still gets the purpose across.
Okay, so
I want on. We got Guten Tag.
Hello,
from Germany.
Friend.
Are you a Rammstein fan? I would love to know if you're a Rammstein fan because Deutschland is probably the best pump-up song before walking into an arena. Just saying, Sarah. I would say, like, listen to the intro of Deutschland and the bass and the drop. If you don't want to run through a wall afterwards, I would need to check your balls.
Mike Vrabel makes me want to run through a wall. Oh my god. Did you watch Fortune in Foxborough?
No, I did not.
You didn't watch Forged in Foxborough?
No.
You need to sit there. You sit there and watch podcasts. You need to watch it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I
the
listen
old
to
clips of
podcasts.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
God.
Mike Vrabel screams Patriot. Like that dude is. He should have been the first choice before Mayo. But
Well, he
what do
wasn't
I
available.
know?
Yeah, he wasn't available. He hadn't been fired. But yeah, it's funny because when this happened, it's like my mom and my sister were like, Sarah got what she wanted, because I used to have to defend my crush on Mike Vrabel because people were like, "You like that big nose bitch?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. That's my guy right there."
Crazy. That like him, you're getting not hate, but like
Well,
you're getting a little pushback.
Well, my sister and my mom were obsessed with Brewski. So like they were like, "Oh my god, Brewski's so cute," and I'm like, Mike Vrabel, right?
Oh yeah, everybody
baby.
loved Brewski, obviously Tommy, but like Vrabel,
I loved him, so good.
That's a sleeper guy.
Loved him.
Rammstein, yes, dude.
He's the one who announced the Patriots pick when they were doing the international.
Way.
Yeah, when they were doing the international picks.
Yeah. Dude, Rammstein slaps so hard. Oh, just follow me on Twitter and send me some songs. Just do it. All right. Sarah.
All right, let's go.
Take it over, girl.
Logan Paul debuted his like third or fourth new theme song entrance music. This time it's his new song Humble, because the irony in that is awesome. It's actually not a bad entrance song though, so I wasn't mad about it. It's way better. Does he still have the hey yeah it does, right? He still does that.
It does, because that's Def Rebelling, like
it's so
in a
stupid.
sense.
So
but his song does slap. It's catchy.
Yeah, it's better than what the others have been. But anyway, Logan came out to just do what he normally does, and so recently it's been bombing. It's just not. He's not doing great on the mic recently. So it was just the same stuff. He's going to be the world heavyweight champion. Blah 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 blah. But this time it was made a little bit different because my man's Gunther was like, "Hey, it's my turn to interrupt you, and I'm gonna just completely dominate you." So he tricked Logan into thinking like, "Oh yeah, like you're great, you're so talented, like you could be the next world heavyweight champion, blah blah blah, like I understand business." And it didn't take long for him to flip it and be like, "No, actually I want nothing to do with you as world heavyweight champion, because I want to get my hands on Jey Uso." So he was basically telling Logan it would be better for him to lose, because if he wins, Gunther's still coming for him, but he's going to be more unhappy if he has to go and get the title back through Logan instead of getting payback on Jey. And what I thought was somewhat interesting, and I don't know if you heard it, when Gunther's music hit, there was some loud cheers. And I was like, okay, there are some normal people in this building right now, because there is nobody that should be cheering Logan Paul over Gunther. Okay. No. Also, people got behind him in this moment. Like, I'm not saying unanimously there wasn't like this giant pop for Gunther, but people were actually interested in this dynamic that was happening
because of the natural heat that Logan Paul gets. No one likes Logan Paul at a WWE live event. Even if Gunther is this monster that everyone should fear and boo, they're still going to cheer him when he's beating up on the guy that everybody in the arena can consensually agree is the worst.
Well, what's ironic about it is when he first got in the ring, before he could say anything, they're all chanting, "You tapped out." So it was like, okay, you're playing into the hand of like, oh, Gunther sucks, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, because of everything that he then went on to say to Logan and about Logan, everyone's like, wait a second. Yeah. I agree with this dude. It's like, fans are fickle. They can't make up their minds,
Fickle. They're fickle.
Damn right, Brian.
Yeah.
They are fickle.
But I did think this was interesting.
I liked how Gunther said the line, if you beat Jey, then it will be personal for me. You know, like, because there's nothing personal really between Gunther and Logan Paul,
No.
except for the sacred sport of professional wrestling,
Mhm.
because of how Logan Paul treats it.
And
How
Logan just
and
getting in his way, basically.
getting in his way constantly being a roadblock to bigger and better things to Gunther, where he treats this like, honestly, like a religion. It is life. That is what he eats, sleeps, and breathes. And Logan just can come in and do it at a high level that pisses him off. And now he's going to take the title from Jay, which he should be doing because Jay took it. Like, that's what's right in his mind. If you're going to do that, now it's personal because you took something from me. Like that. I love that element of this where it keeps you, and it keeps the championship picture a lot like buzzing without the champion.
Well, it also just made it seem like Logan has a chance, because I think most people are going into this knowing that Jay is going to retain, or you assume that Jay is going to retain because he's not going to drop the title to a guy that showed up twice before this match. And this makes it feel like, okay, no, there's a little bit more story to it than just like, oh, Jay's going to go in there and he's just going to beat Logan. And then there's that. It's like, no, there's more to it now with Gunther involved and this extra story. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, even if I'm not that interested in Logan Paul,
Yeah. He's going to put on a good match. Like, it's going to be just a good match.
And yes, Logan is a terrible promo. And this is the thing that always is interesting to me, because you would think that with how like talented he is in the ring, even if he is somebody who just wants spot after spot after spot, which does get annoying, because obviously if you watch professional wrestling, there's a flow in a match. So if all you're trying to do is do spot, it's like, okay, like there's a lot of stop and go and delays. Like it's not fun. But because people obviously are impressed with how good he is in the ring naturally, you would think that they would want to like work with him a bit more on his promos, because it's going beyond people booing him because they hate him. It's like people are now also booing you because you just go out there and you say the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just not working. It's just not.
It's just natural heat. It's the natural heat that he can't like adjust on the fly because of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the biggest learning curve, I would say, that he's had to adjust on the fly to.
This is interesting. So there's a beta thing that shows the comments on the screen as they happen. So let's see how that happens.
You can try it. Let's try it. Let's go for it.
So
Grande Americano.
Yes. So we had a match between what?
No, continue talking. I'm just gonna fix it so it's one line.
Oh no, I think it's because I have the comments on the thing. I think the comments pop up over there. I can turn it off.
Let's try it. No, let's try it.
See? Oh, it would have been fine, but okay.
No, put comments back on.
Okay. Anyway, who was Penta in a match with? I don't even remember.
It was AJ Styles.
Penta and AJ Styles
taking on the Judgment Days, Finn Balor,
right,
and JD McDonough. Which this match was very good.
Fergie and JD McDaddy.
Great start to Raw.
This was a good match. Oh, see, it's pretty tiny though. Oh, maybe it'll start to go up. Anyway,
it depends on where you're watching it.
Yeah.
For us, it's gonna be tiny.
And this was just obviously to continue whatever is going on between Judgment Day and Penta, Judgment Day and AJ Styles. And we did get involvement from Carlito, and eventually we got El Grande Americano coming out of the audience and headbutting Penta with the metal in his mask, which then helped pin Balor finally get the win, which was very nice.
Nice to see Finn Balor pick up dubs on Raw.
That was very nice.
Very rare occurrence.
Yeah, no, I would like it to happen more. That would be very nice. I think, as fine as this is, I would like to see there be some sort of progression between Grande and Penta instead of seeing this for like a third time. Like, I don't want to keep seeing this because, like, when is Penta going to be like, give me a match with this dude? I can't keep having matches and him coming out and like headbutting me. This is the third time actually, isn't it?
So three strikes, you're out. There it is.
So we actually need to see progression there if that's what they're going to do, like if that's the direction they want to go, instead of having Penta go after Dom again or whatever he's trying to do. If it's for the intercontinental title, they need to do something with this, because I'm getting bored already and they haven't even started a proper feud yet.
Now, before I propose this, have you got tired of El Grande Americano? Like, you feel that we've hit, his end?
I don't know that it's his end, but I feel like they're not doing enough to get people to care. Like the idea of it not being Chad Gable, it's kind of funny, but I think that when we kind of talked about how it would be nice if they could kind of do something where him and Gable are in the same place at the same time, and then it's like, oh, is it Gable? Is it not? Like we could see that again. Maybe we could see Gable kind of slip up and be like, oh shit, like maybe he forgot to take off the mask or something, and then we're like, oh my god, wait,
See, that's where I'm going.
Grande. Like we need to see some sort of progression there too, because everybody knows that it's him, but the longer we keep pretending that it's not and they're not doing anything to further that, it gets boring. And then when we're going to keep seeing him cheat against Penta and then there's no payoff there, it gets boring. So it's very easy to check out.
See, to me, I want to see this end with a mask versus mask match.
Yeah.
And obviously it ends up being, Chad Gable the entire time. And just because it's not that it's not that I do not like the El Grande Americano. It is funny. Like I have a sense of humor, whatever. But it is taking away from Chad Gable. It's taking away from him, the wrestler, right now, because any opportunity that would go to Chad Gable's going to El Grande Americano, because Chad, you were sick. You had that doctor's note. Oh, Money in the Bank. Well, you got the Creeds. You got to be in their corner for their tag team championship match. So we'll just give the opportunity to El Grande Americano. Like, you see where I'm getting at?
No,
like,
I get it. Yeah.
Where you're losing out on some quality Chad Gable, where El Grande Americano to me has served its purpose. It's run its course. I want to see one last payoff story. That'd be awesome. And then let's move on and have this be a launching pad for Chad Gable.
Yeah. No, and I agree with Richard, because saying that he thinks Rey Mysterio's injury is probably a big reason why this story has kind of halted, because obviously there was going to be some sort of story there, but then he got injured before Mania, so that has forced them to do something else, but it just feels like they're not really sure what to do at this point, which, like, it's fine that they're trying to develop this heat between El Grande and Penta, but again, like, doing the same thing 3 times in a row and then there's no payoff or there's no development from that, again, like, it makes you want to just, like, you don't care, because it's like, why we're probably going to see it for a 4th time, or what is happening here? Because if we're thinking about real life, then you would think Penta would be going to Adam Pearce and being like, I need a match with this guy because he keeps interfering, he keeps headbutting me, he keeps costing me matches. Yet why is Penta not doing that? Like, he just keeps going out there and getting matches, getting headbutt and losing, and then he's like, okay, whatever, on to the next week. It's like, no, that's not the kind of character you would think that they would be trying to develop for Penta.
I can see it. Yeah, they do have to do more with Penta. It's early. As I said, let it play out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Alien Technology thinks that Logan Paul might actually beat Jay and then get beat by Gunther.
See, any chance to see Logan Paul get used as a pin cushion by Gunther?
Fine with me.
Like, cool. That's great. All right, Gunther's just going to chop the shit out of him. We love when Gunther chops the shit out of people, even if it is Pat McAfee.
I
don't
wouldn't
care.
hate that
Sauce.
simply because I would love to have Gunther as champion and then he can kind of have like a redemption arc. I would definitely love that. I just don't know if I see that happening. I'll talk about what my theory is later. But so we did get 2 women's qualifying matches for the Money in the Bank, which the first one was Roxanne Perez versus Becky Lynch versus
A returning Kairi Sane.
Kairi Sane. That's right. No, not Kairi Sane. Who was the other one? Why do I forget?
Natalie.
Natty.
Wow. Natty.
Natty.
Wow.
Okay. I was getting
hanging
confused.
with my buddy.
So,
Natalia. Thank you.
yes, Natalia. And I made a TikTok about this and the other match that they announced. We'll talk about the other match. And a lot of people were not thrilled about the fact that Becky Lynch was in this match, but I kind of feel like you have to have these girls in the matches.
Get bent to those people. Sorry, not you. Just come on.
But this was a great match and it went on for quite a while and the crowd was really good actually throughout the entire night, but they were really great during these women's matches and they got really behind Roxanne, which I think that was kind of like a universal thing out of the women that were in this match. You were kind of hoping that it was going to be Roxanne's time because Becky has unsettled business with Lyra Valkyria and then you assume eventually she's going to have some sort of I don't know, storyline with Bailey whenever she is brought back. And I think people know at this point in her career from what we've seen, Natty is not going to be in that position to be in the Money in the Bank, or you at least you don't think so. So when Roxanne hit the pop rocks and she won, the crowd was really excited. And I am intrigued. I am excited. I think we finally got the answer that Roxanne is officially on the Raw roster, and I'm excited to see what she can do. And I'm excited that her first real big match is going to be Money in the Bank because it feels like that is such an opportunity for girls to set themselves apart. Like if we're talking about Chelsea Green, for instance, like people liked Chelsea, but they didn't really know her game until last year's Money in the Bank when she fell off the ladder through the table. And then people kind of were like, oh shit, wait.
She knows ball.
She's legit.
And then they go back and look at her old shit from
Yes.
Lucha Underground and TNA or Impact, Tomato Potato.
Yeah. So this is definitely an opportunity for Roxanne to do that. And I don't know. I think I am excited to see who else joins her. We know one other person, which we'll get to, but I think Roxanne was a solid first one.
Great choice. I echo everything you said because this is the time that you need. Never mind. I just need to echo what you say. I don't need to add on. You're right.
And she fits exactly what a lot of people want in the Money in the Bank matches anyway. You want girls or guys that are not necessarily in a position to just get a title match and they kind of need that extra boost. Assuming that Roxanne is not going to win, I mean, just because of how early it is in her main roster career.
She doesn't need to win. You didn't.
No, not
Julia,
yet.
Hasn't Julia been announced for a Money in the Bank triple threat match?
I don't know, maybe on SmackDown.
That's what I'm saying. So we could have that. You could have
Yeah.
Roxanne and Julia. There's so many different opportunities that come from this. That Roxanne being in this is the best choice.
Yeah. Richard says he believes it's Alexa, Julia, and Naomi is who he thinks will get in from SmackDown. Yeah, because we already saw Alexa.
Alexa got in.
Oh, the qualifier this week is Julia, Charlotte, and Zelina. Yeah, Zelina's not getting in because she's already champion. She's a champion. Don't feel bad for her. She doesn't need to be in this match. She's a champion. I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but Tozawa
balls. That's what he's got. Balls. That's what I gotta say.
Seek his revenge on Rusev for what he has done to him and to his guy Otis, and so he wanted a match with Rusev, and that was made official. I guess we don't work behind the scenes. We're not in the creative room. We don't have a connection to Triple H or anything, but I would like to think that Rusev is content with what is happening, or he knows what the long-term plans are, because him coming back just to feud with Alpha Academy is confusing. Like, that is not the kind of thing that you would think this guy is like, hey, you know what? After 5 years or however long he's been gone, I'm coming back to WWE as a new guy. I'm in shape. I'm bald. I have new outfits. Like, I'm a tougher SOB. And I want to come back and I'm going to take down Tozawa. Like, that is not his goal. So I'm like, when are we going to move on and see him against like a legitimate opponent?
I think this is a great opportunity for Tozawa to go toe to toe. I mean, a great chance for Tozawa to show his skills on television now. You know, with this feud, like, why the hell of all people is Tozawa going to stand up to Rusev? I love it. I'm because Tozawa, yeah, I like it.
I'm wondering if someone is gonna like come out and try to help him or something, because you only assume that it's the match is gonna go bad at some point. I think that they'll have Tozawa hang in there for a little bit, like they
Oh, it's gonna
usually
be back
do
and forth. Tozawa's gonna hang with Rusev. It's gonna be
for a bit. And then
oh
I'm
for a bit,
wondering
just for a
if
bit.
like maybe they'll have somebody else come out, like it's maybe not Otis, but maybe somebody else that can kind of, yeah, like Richard said, maybe Sheamus or something. Sheamus comes out and
And
like
then
makes the
Sheamus and
save, and then we can
Rusev.
see Sheamus and Rusev. And I think that is something that will get people a little bit more interested in Rusev's return,
Mm-hmm.
because the way they brought him back was weird anyway, because he came back in the middle of a tag team segment. And then since then, he's been beefing with a tag team. And so I think, yeah, they're going to need to move him on from this. But I like the Sheamus idea. I mean, Sheamus isn't doing
I
anything
don't
right
hate
now
that idea
either.
either.
So that would be better than what they're doing. And I'm not even someone that cares about Rusev being back. You know, I'm
It is
not.
what it is.
But speaking of Sheamus,
This
he
was eye opening. This was
he
eye
took
opening.
on Grayson Waller this week, after taking on Austin Theory a couple weeks ago, which Grayson set up for his apparent BFF, which Theory
A
obviously was
legend.
not into. And Grayson just got, what do they say, mollywopped. He was just ragdoll. It did not end well. He tried to escape at one point, and Theory made sure, no, brother, you're getting back in there. And he started laughing, and the crowd started chanting for Austin Theory.
I just was writing that. I was gonna ask you what were your feelings on the hearing the crowd chant for Austin Theory and then the camera cutting to Austin Theory biting his lip because he couldn't believe it either.
I just, my immediate reaction was just like, it's about time. You know,
Yeah.
like, this is why Austin Theory has needed to be a baby face for the past 2 years. Like, we've been saying this for so long. And this gave me a little bit of hope that maybe the right moment for him to fully turn on Waller has not passed yet, because that is something that we've talked about in recent weeks, that maybe that opportunity was long ago and that it's not going to get the reaction that they should get. This made me feel a little bit more hopeful, like, okay, if they're in front of the right crowd, it's going to be a big moment. And I would like to see it sooner rather than later, because I really feel like Theory could have like a really great summer if they have him as a baby face. He could have, you know, a little feud with Waller, but then move on from there, and maybe we see him back in the mid card scene. Like, I don't
Can you
know.
imagine a Dirty Dom Theory rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship? I'd be for that. I like that.
Banger. Well, and interesting though, because it's like, is Dom a babyface? Are we trying to push him as a babyface? Like, there's some
Nah,
sort of
he's
gray
right in
area
that
right
middle.
now.
He's in a
Yeah.
gray area.
But that would be a really great feud, and I mean, it could be a great way for Theory to really get over in the fans' eyes of being like the good guy that you want to root for, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's time. I mean, that's the first time that I think we've ever heard anyone cheer for Theory in a positive way. Like that.
I haven't heard an Austin Theory chant in months.
Or years. I couldn't even tell you
It
the last
could
time.
be years.
Yeah.
It could very well could be years.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things that it's like, it really does feel like he got the Vince McMahon curse, because anytime he has aligned himself with like a young talent, it's almost never gone right for that talent. if we want to talk about another prime example, is Drew McIntyre. The second that he was thrown out there as this young Scottish wrestler, but he was supposed to be the next guy. It was Vince McMahon's pick. It was not great. And it felt like it kind of doomed him from the start, because that was just the constant label that he was getting from fans. And that has been the case with Theory, on top of them not pivoting to what his strength is, which is obviously being a likable dude. They should have done that a long time ago. They were trying so hard to get him to be a bad guy, and I get it. When he first came out, he was super annoying with the selfies and the US title thing. It was annoying, but it was like you hated him because he was annoying.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't really like anything deeper than that, you know?
There was no substance with this dude. Dude was just taking selfies. That's like,
yeah, that was just being, it was like, all right, this dude's annoying, you know?
I have a photo of me taking a selfie with Austin Theory in the background.
As he's taking a selfie?
No, as he got his ass kicked walking away on SmackDown. It was
very
awesome.
nice. Very nice. I agree with Richard. He says that Theory was pushed too early, too fast, like Roman. He never found the right gimmick. Yeah. So I think they need to lean into the babyface thing, because I mean, we've been saying this. Dude is one of the people that is constantly at charity events. Why would they choose this guy to go to charity events if he was a real life asshole?
Exactly.
You know, like so they need to lean into that, because I feel like they're really missing out on a giant baby face on Raw that isn't Jey Uso. Because it really is like, it's Jey Uso right now. Like, he's that top guy on Raw. Cody Rhodes obviously is still that guy on SmackDown when he's around. But it would be nice to have an Austin Theory, because he's not even 30. He can wrestle his ass off. People want to cheer for him. Like,
yeah,
do it. That's a guy that you can have around for another 10, 15 years. So there's no reason. But anyway, moving on to Gunther, who was all over Raw, and I was loving it. And this time he ran into Mr. Seth Rollins, who was in the back, who approached him actually in the back. And he put Seth Rollins on notice, because Seth has made it clear, as well as Paul Heyman, that Seth is the guy to become the next World Heavyweight Champion. And since Gunther has already made his priority known that, hey, guys, I'm going after the World Heavyweight title on the June 9th Raw, Rollins is like, yeah, okay, well, whatever happens, like, I'm coming for that title as well, because it's my title. You did a great job holding the title for me, which I was like, Seth, you're being kind. But, you know. And Gunther welcomed the challenge. And I was like, I want to see Gunther versus Seth Rollins. The fact that we could be deprived of this because of Jey Uso being the champion really hurts my soul. It
does hurt your soul a lot. You really have been hurt by the Yeet Man being champion.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that he can do to get back to like neutral territory in my head. I think it's F Jey Uso forever. That's what it is. Because you hurt me.
God, man. You don't just love to yeet everywhere.
I know that. Okay, Richard, I know that he wasn't going to say your title reign was ass. I was making a joke about like Seth being kind. That's all.
Your title reign is ass.
I would not.
It was ass.
He wasn't going to say
I'm
that.
going to have a better title reign. My title.
Anyway,
basically
so this, I like that they're doing this, because I think concerns were valid, and I had some of the concerns, but I know a lot of other people were too, about what was going to happen with the World Heavyweight title after Mania, assuming that Jey was going to win, because there was nobody that was in line to be like, you know what, I'm going to come after Jey if he's the champion, or he had enemies lined up. Like, there was nothing there. So that's kind of why they're throwing Logan Paul at him, because it's easy to be like, all right, let's throw the most hated guy in the company at you right now. But after Logan, there really isn't anything. So it's like, all right, well, let's get Gunther back into the title scene. Let's get Seth Rollins back in there. Like, let's involve all of these guys to make it a little bit more interesting going into Saturday night's main event, going into Money in the Bank, and going into that Raw after Money in the Bank. Because now it's like there are so many people that could potentially be in the Money in the Bank match, that could be trying to get a title match, that could be coming after Gunther if he's the one that ends up winning against Jay or Logan. You know, like it's a lot more interesting than just being like, okay, what's happening now? Who's Jay going to face now? It's like, all right, well, there's options here.
It's building the championship division. That's what they're doing. They're building up, the main event picture one by one with these little connections and intertwining of segments and whatnot. Gunther may not have ended the show squaring off face to face with Seth Rollins, but he's an enemy. He's someone that's going to be looking out for. They're going to be looking out for each other, and you like that, because it makes you want to keep watching.
I think it's also important that they continue to, I hate to use this word, but it's just the easiest one, to legitimize the world heavyweight title, because I think that there are still people who don't consider it as desirable as the the undisputed championship on SmackDown, or they still view it as like, I don't know, a stepping stone or whatever. Like, they just don't view it in a high regard the way that they should, I feel like, or the way that WWE hoped that people would when they brought it back. And so having these kinds of guys wanting to get involved in the title scene and being like, no, I'm coming after it because it's important to me and blah, 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 blah. Like, that is crucial, I think, right now. Because they're not going to be trying to go after a title if no one actually cares about it. Like, they're not going to have a lineup of dudes being like, you know what, I want that title, if they really don't.
They don't care about it. So
yeah,
it's a way it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So the other Money in the Bank qualifying match, I would say, was a bit controversial, but it was Zoe Stark versus Kairi Sane versus Rhea Ripley. And this is the match that I figured we were going to get the obvious winner, which was Rhea Ripley. And before getting into that, we did get the return of Kairi Sane, which was great. She had been injured with a right hand injury, so it was really great to see her. She does. I love that she had the gold coins in like her little purse, and she just
good. Yeah.
And then of course Zoe Stark. This is her first match back on TV in God knows how long, and poor girl got injured. We don't know what the extent of the injury is yet. Obviously, most people were jumping to conclusions about what it could be. And obviously, it didn't look good. If you watch the replay, you see how her leg turned. The fact that she got carried out.
During commercial break, they came back from commercial break, and it was a one-on-one match.
I was so confused because like I totally missed it because I was like working at the same time, so like I looked up and then I sat down, whatever, and then I looked up and I was like, where is Zoe? I had to go to Twitter to be like, oh, I didn't even realize. I had no idea. And so I was like, oh my God, that's awful. Cause I'm like, I knew that something happened to her and that's why she wasn't there. But I just was like, did I miss her going through a table? Like, did I miss something?
Like, did you get taken out on the outside? No, I saw that it happened, but it happened so fast. And obviously with the camera angles and stuff, you just think, oh, landed weird. Okay, well, they're going to go check on her. But they're checking on her for a lot longer. And then commercial. And they come back to commercial, and it's a one-on-one match with Michael Cole announcing that Zoe Stark had been taken out due to that injury. They only do that type of stuff
when it's
serious. You know, when they're throwing up one of these type of
so
things.
It really sucks, obviously, because she's been very active on social media, trying to get her name out there, advocating to being on TV. And then she gets this opportunity knowing that she wasn't going to win, and she injures herself, and based on what we saw, it doesn't look good. Obviously, I don't want to speculate too much because we don't know what is wrong, but that did lead to Rhea versus Kairi for a good chunk of the match, and Rhea is the one who won, which is another person that a lot of people were not hoping was going to walk out the winner, because it just felt obvious. But I guess I want to hear how you feel about it, because I made a TikTok about it, this match and the other women's match with Becky. And it was before the match happened. And I was just talking about, people were upset about these matches and feeling like you could kind of tell what was going to happen. I felt like if either woman was going to win, it was going to be Rhea won. And that's exactly what happened. So how do you feel about her being in the Money in the Bank?
She's never been in a Money in the Bank match,
Crazy
to my
think about.
knowledge. So if this is the time to have her be in one, sure. I do not see her winning it. There's
she doesn't need it.
Exactly. There's no reason for that. Also, there's more for her to do with someone costing her the Money in the Bank, whether it's someone in the match or a returning, debuting, it doesn't matter, superstar. That's something that you can dig your teeth into for a storyline, no matter who it is, So if it's just a vehicle for her to do that, yeah, like I would like to see Rhea Ripley in a Money in the Bank match. So I'm happy with it, and you should be too. And you as in the peeps, like the peeps should be happy that we're gonna see Rhea Ripley in a Money in the Bank match and that she's not holding the title hostage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just like, so I feel like I'm kind of split on this, because I think that the Money in the Bank match feels like that is the time where a woman who kind of needs to be elevated is the one who wins. 9 times out of 10. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. Obviously, it depends on the circumstances surrounding the title and whatnot. Like, I do think that this might be a year for the men again. When the male winner doesn't need to be elevated. I think it's going to be somebody who already is established is going to win the Money in the Bank. I'll tell you why. But I do think that we could see a woman that might need to be elevated win it this year, kind of like what we saw last year with Tiffany Stratton. Wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be in a similar situation. So I get why people wouldn't want Rhea Ripley in the match, because it feels like, okay, you're taking that away from somebody else, especially when her qualifying match was against people like Kairi Sane. And if Zoe didn't get her Zoe Stark, it feels like she's taking that opportunity away from two girls who could very well need the Money in the Bank match to get to a point where they are a Rhea Ripley. However, I also think that there's an argument to be made that you need star power in this match. And so you can't just put in Roxanne, Zoe, Kairi, like girls that need to establish themselves, because they could still put on a banger match, but fans are not going to be as invested in it as they would if there is a Rhea Ripley, if there is an Alexa Bliss in the match. Like, that is automatically going to get people to tune in because they're already hardcore fans of those girls. So because we already have Rhea and Alexa in there, I assume that we're going to get some fresh blood in there, like we talked about earlier. Julia being one of them in there. Even a Naomi could be in there. Those are girls that make sense right now to be in this match. And so that's why it's like I'm torn, but I think it's going to be a banger match no matter what. And that's exciting.
It is going to slap.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be really good.
Ironically, as I was saying the star power thing, that's exactly what Richard came in and said. Rhea had some great star power. That was very weird.
Good shit, Dickie.
But speaking of the women, I hate this stupid chat thing now, because now I gotta. They should fix that so it's not like that. So those those moments that we've seen behind the scenes of backstage interviews and whatnot between Mr. Fergie Ferg and Roxanne finally came to a head this week when Roxanne came into the Judgment Day lair and Finn was hinting like, hey, you said we needed a new member. Why not Roxanne? And of course, the people in Judgment Day were not thinking a new member would be a woman, especially because, they added Liv and they added Raquel. So it's like, we don't need another woman. you know? And since Liv is still out of town, you can tell Fergie Ferg is trying to stir the pot. And he was doing that on Twitter today too, which I was like, I am so here for this. I am so here for troll Fergie.
He did.
It's so
They
funny.
were saying you wanted to see a new member. Well, I
Mhm.
finally find a new member, and everyone's like, "Oh, what the hell?" Like,
Mhm.
oh,
But
very
she came
interesting.
bearing gifts. So she was like, "You know
She
what? I don't have to
did
be in the
bear
group
gifts.
right now." And that was what Finn was saying too. Like, okay, she's not an official member or anything, but like she will be here and she'll have our back. And that is when she presented chicken nuggies to Dom Dom and a bag of apples for Mr. Carlito, which Raquel was not interested in because she's got her girl Liv's back. And that is when people started speculating that we might see the continuation of the storyline where Dom Dom might leave Liv for Miss Roxanne.
See, I would just I don't know how where I stand yet on him being a flip flopper, because he's oozing machismo right now.
But that's
He's
the only thing that makes me like I don't want to see Dom and Liv break up because I love their dynamic. So I don't want to see that happen. But I also kind of love this idea of Dom being like a heartthrob, like a ladies' man who just like the women are throwing themselves at him and then he leaves like a second girl for a third girl.
like,
That is hilarious because like you really threw away Rhea Ripley and then you threw away Liv Morgan and now you're going to go for Roxanne. Like that's kind of gold right there.
that's wrestling, baby. That's pro wrestling at its
Yeah.
finest.
Yeah.
His
So
his dad would be proud.
I like that idea. Cuz my feeling about it is like again, this is another situation where I'm kind of torn on it. Um where they've been hinting so much about what was going to happen with Judgment Day and if there was going to be a split. And of course, this is just the latest cog in the machine because
Mhm.
Finn continues to try and create drama to get them to that point. And this time he was doing it with another woman because we have to remember he's the one who pushed Dom to go after Liv to like get that going. And so he's doing
Mhm.
it again this time with Roxanne. So like you know, to that extent, it's like, okay, if this is the way that they break up or the group breaks up, sure. I also feel like there's an argument that you can make that Liv has kind of outgrown the Judgment Day. Like, this whole Judgment Day storyline over the past year or more than a year has propelled her into like superstardom. Like,
Oh yeah.
2024 was the year of Liv Morgan. And so I think that she's in a space where she would be much better off alone now than if we said this like 6 months ago or a year ago. So again, like if they're looking at things from that perspective, then sure, we could see her be like, you know what, F you, Dom, I'm leaving. You can have
Mhm.
Roxanne. And then she feuds with Roxanne. But at the same time, you know, from what we've been seeing, it feels like they want to make Dom a baby face. So him leaving Liv for Roxanne is not very baby face like. And it
No.
looks more
Yeah.
like Finn would be the bad guy in the situation, which would make him align with Roxanne far more than Dom doing that. So that's why it's like I'm very confused on the direction. I don't know what I want necessarily, but it's interesting, I guess.
Fascinating. It's pro wrestling, baby. That's all I can say. It's pro wrestling. It's awesome.
The main thing I just hope is whatever happens that I hope everybody comes out of it better and like in good positions to continue to
Oh
be
yeah.
like on TV every week because like people are like, oh, the Judgment Day is over, they're so boring or they're this and that, and it's like they're not though. Like we literally got this segment last night and it was funny. Like
It was really funny.
the
The
pictures, the
apple.
stills with Finn like with this cheesy
Just see
grin and like
the smile.
and Dom just like looking at the Nuggets with such love and like everyone else being like, oh shit, you know, like those are the kinds of things that are so good right now. And so I don't
What
want
about
to see the end
Carlito
of
with
that.
gets the bag of apples?
Yeah.
Raquel slams the apple down,
Yeah.
and then as she's telling off Roxanne, he picks up another apple out of the bag and starts eating it. Like just
Mhm.
little shit like that is awesome. It's
Yeah.
great.
So that's the thing is I feel like the Judgment Day dynamic since they got rid of Rhea and Damien has definitely been a roller coaster, but I feel like they kind of have hit their stride. right
Oh, yeah.
now, and I like what they do. I think it's funny, and they're entertaining, and and we're kind of on the edge of our seat, I would say, because we've seen these hints of Finn wanting to kind of turn on Dom or Dom turning on him, but we haven't quite seen it yet. And so I don't know. I think it's one of the more interesting stories that we're seeing. And I know not everyone feels that way, but you know. All right, then we got to the main event, which was Braun Breaker taking on Jey Uso after he attacked him last week on Raw. And this was a solid match, but of course it ended in chaos like usual
I mean,
because
of course it is.
it is what it is. And Braun was laying it into Jay, but that did not take Jay out. And of course, they can't have that happen before, he defends his championship at Saturday night's main event. And that is when we see Sami Zayn come out. We see CM Punk come out, and they all start to square off against each other. And, trying to get everybody hyped for Saturday night's main event. So there's not a whole lot to this. However, I have a theory. Because we've talked about this.
I think just keep it. It's fine for the last one. It's not that bad.
I kind of feel like this is the setup for what is happening after Money in the Bank. I think because if you really look into this, there's really no reason for Jey Uso to be involved in this. Like the only reason why he's even involved is because of Seth is wanting to come after his title, but that's not what this beef is between Sammy and Punk and Braun and Seth. That it has nothing to do with the championship. So like Jay just came out to be like, all right, I'm gonna help you. Like it there was really no reason for it. And because of this happening, it really feels like this is why I feel even more. Jay is probably losing. He's getting cashed in on. I have a feeling Seth is winning Money in the Bank. My theory is Seth wins Money in the Bank. He cashes in on Jay on Raw, instantly makes Jay more over, I guess, if that's even possible, gets Seth even more heat because they're not exactly succeeding to getting people booing Seth at this point. And I think that they'll have him cash in, and then that then gets Jay completely involved in whatever is going on. Gunther could even maybe get involved with Seth and Braun. Maybe he's the third guy, or if not, he's at least going to be around. I don't know, but it involves everybody. But the reason I think it might be Seth is because Seth becomes champion, probably holds it for a while, and then if they're going to eventually disband this group, which I assume they will, we could see Braun win Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Regardless, I do think that this is setting up that Jay's losing because again, there's no reason for him to be involved with Sami and Punk's beef with Seth and Braun if he's going to be champion after Money in the Bank in the post Raw. There's no reason. Like it makes no sense for him to be involved in that at all.
No, it doesn't. I see more of this like right now. Just I see this more being set up for Seth taking over everything, like winning the championship, using Braun to get it, keep telling Braun that his time will come, and the third person, I don't even think they need a third person.
No.
It's not, it's more about Seth. Like that's all this is it's about Seth, and this stuff right now with Jay, Sammy, and Punk is just, filler.
Yeah, because it's like they need to do something. Richard thinks that it's Seth's winning Money in the Bank is a waste. I don't think it is, because this is the thing. If we're looking at the landscape of both championships right now, the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw is so entangled as we're talking about Gunther, then if we're looking at the undisputed title on SmackDown, Cena is not getting cashed in on. It's not happening. It's just not. And if we put, oh gosh, my internet.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just have to let me know if I start bugging out. Am I still here?
Barely, yeah. No, you're not. All right, Sarah is not here at the moment, so Sammy's not there. Remember, Seth winning. What the hell? That's not even a possibility, I don't think. You should feed Dom some ice cream nugget. Could you imagine ice cream, chicken nugget shaped ice cream? Pretty good. They should do that. Like nugget ice cream. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. Sarah went to Dynamite. Yeah, she took the flight early. That's right, Nathaniel. Good. She took a flight early. I don't know what the hell is happening here. She had her internet crash out. Now it's just me. Spadudios. Let's get this banner off. There we go. Let's do that. Oh, she's back. She's back. On join. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's weird looking. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, so what I was trying to say is Cena is not going to get cashed in on. That's not going to. First of all, he's not going to lose in a cash in, and I don't think that. I think it's more pointless to let somebody like an LA Knight win the Money in the Bank to cash in and then lose. Like that is more wasteful to me because that does nothing for him. It's like the match against Roman Reigns in Saudi. Like he had that title match, which was like, okay, cool. But like everyone knew he was going to lose because we knew that Roman was not going to drop the title. So to me, it feels like this is a year for it to be kind of a waste again. A waste, but to me it's like Seth getting it makes sense because of all the stories that go along with it. I don't think that a SmackDown guy is going to get it this year, or if he does, it's like he's going to be holding on to it for a really long time because as long as Cena is champion, he's not getting cashed in on. If Cody wins the title from Cena, he ain't getting cashed in on. It's like the world heavyweight title is the only one that I feel like can be cashed in on no matter who was champion. So it feels like this is not the year for to elevate a guy. It feels like it's another year for the Money in the Bank to elevate a woman, probably. So
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be controversial, and I get it, but like, I feel like it's more of a waste for everybody if you give it to a person that actually needs to be or deserves to be champion. Like if we're going to use LA Knight, for him to hold on to the briefcase for a really long time, or again, like I said, to cash in and lose, like that feels more harmful than letting a guy like Seth win and then cash in and win. You know what I'm saying?
I do. No, I do. It does seem like that. It's more the women's time to. Wait, all right. Well, men, do you think they would cash in right away, or do you think it would be a hold it and wait, hold and sit on it type of thing?
The man?
Yeah.
I think Seth might cash in on that Monday. I think the June 9th show.
I don't want to see Seth as Money in the Bank. That's so bullshit. I don't want to see that.
So who should win then? I literally just sat here and argued with you about why it's going to be somebody like Seth Rollins, and you agreed.
The internet was in there. I just would like. I don't know. So I want to see who's in the match. I want to see who's in the match fully because I don't. They didn't tease. They didn't announce any men's matches yet. So
no, not yet. And they don't have a lot of time. Well, and that's the thing is like, are there people that could be in it, like that could use it? Yeah, like we keep mentioning LA Knight. LA Knight should be in that match, and it would be great if he could win. I just don't think this year is not.
It's not it. No,
it's not it for him because I feel like it's a waste because he's in dead water. Like still on SmackDown. This is why I've been saying for 2 years that he needs to be on Raw. And if let's say even LA Knight wins and Jey Uso retains, he's not cashing in on Jey Uso. So again, it's a complete fucking waste because like he's not going to cash in on the biggest baby face on Raw. He's not going to do that because they don't want to turn LA Knight into a heel. That's not happening.
No.
So it's like Cody Rhodes isn't going to win Money in the Bank, and anyone suggesting that is ridiculous. This is a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, does not need a Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, I just don't know that there's anybody that really needs it. Like, okay, Jay is saying Braun Breaker. I do think that that's interesting, but I don't know that they're at that point in this new development of that group that makes it feel like they're stable enough to handle Braun winning Money in the Bank. You know,
what do you think about CM Punk?
But for what? Again, so he doesn't cash in on Jay? Like...
He cashed in on Cena.
I mean, I don't
know.
Like,
if someone's gonna cash in on Cena, it has to be a guy like CM Punk. Like, you can't
but
have,
they can also just have a match at SummerSlam
CM Punk
anyway.
Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is kind of owed a rematch, so.
Yeah, so he gets an automatic rematch, and I feel like we could get Punk versus Cena at SummerSlam or something. So I don't know. As of right now, to me, the only person who makes sense is Seth Rollins, just given the story. He's the only one. And again, it's just my theory, so I do not need to get hate comments about how you don't agree with my theory. I know that I'm going to get that in the comments of the video anyway, but I don't see Jay being a long-term champion. I said that even before he won the title. And based off of how much they're talking about this Raw after Money in the Bank, it really feels like, okay, you're gearing up for a cash in. Because what is the significance of the Raw after Money in the Bank? There's really no significance to it unless they're trying to do something. And the reason why they're doing that also, I feel like, is because then Gunther doesn't get pinned. Gunther cannot get pinned by Jey Uso again. That can't happen. Or he can't be tapped out. I'm sorry. Whatever. He cannot lose to Jey Uso again. So, I don't know.
We'll see.
But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw. Hell of a show it was. Speaking of great shows, we'll be back on Thursday for our Super Show, talking all things wrestling.
And Saturday night's main event predictions.
Saturday night's main event predictions as well. Right now, only 4 matches have been.
I think that might be it.
Which might be it. Who knows? All right.
Crazy.
Let it play out. It is crazy. Quality over quantity.
The cage match is probably one that's going to be a long one. So maybe that's why. Although I'm already mad about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to have Damian win. So, which I think is ridiculous. Can't Drew win one feud? Can he win one feud?
I don't know.
Just one.
Just one to keep you happy.
Yeah.
Just anything that. And so we'll be on Thursday talking about that and a lot of other things going on in the Wrestleverse. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live and post a new video. All right. And go follow us on all social media platforms at Patty Pitts on Twitter and Instagram, and at SMarshXO on Twitter. TikTok, No Nights Off Show. We're closing in on 1,000. We have like 800 something. So
we're almost at 900.
And beautiful.
We also just hit 10,000 likes. So
let's go. Round of applause, Sarah.
We're at 896.
Nice.
So we're getting close.
We love that. So let's keep it moving, get those numbers up, and we will see you on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. Just do it. No more trying. Just do it.